Hello everyone, this is Mohammed Awad and we'll be reviewing course design for Political Science 1201, which is posted on my personal website and is linked here under More. The course is American Government, Constitution, Institutions, and Political Process. First, we had to identify the course outcomes, which there were 6 of them, to summarize the formation, concepts, and components of the United States Constitution, compare America's major political parties and their core beliefs, and the impact special interest groups can have on their actions. Third, describe the organization and purpose of the legislative, executive, and judicial branches of government. 4, examine the idea of federalism and learn the role of states and the national government in America's political environment. Number 5, examine the concepts of civil rights and civil liberties and their impact on American society. Number 6, examine the components and functions of Texas state government. Next, we had to create an outline for the course and apply the course outcomes to these outlines, which will help us to break down the course into 8 weeks or 8 modules. And we will be going in depth in each one of these modules. First, we'll start with Week 1, Module 1. Here, in this, we have to start with the intro. In this module, students will have an opportunity to take a deep dive into the formation of the different components of the United States Constitution. Students will also examine the different components of the U.S. Constitution, and students will create an assignment demonstrating points learned through online course. First, we had the reading and study resources. There's 2 links here. One link to history.com that's about explains the Constitution, and the other one is from the Annenberg classroom. Next, we have the audio-visual resources that were added, and here we have 3 YouTube videos that are embedded, and we'll play them briefly. Make sure everything is working here, and everything seems to be working normally. Then, for Module 1, there's the assessment, the first assessment of the course, which is the U.S. Constitution timeline. In this module, students will have an opportunity to take a deep dive into the formation of the United States Constitution. Students will demonstrate learning important dates around the creation of the U.S. Constitution. The parameters, the length of the project, it will be using the template provided by online tool of choice. The components of this form should be developed in a professional style. No references are required, and it's a single submission, not a group project. And the format will be please submit the timeline as a link from the tool selected. Prompt for the assessment. There are several important dates surrounding the creation of the U.S. Constitution. Select a free online tool such as Office Timeline or Satori and create a timeline highlighting the important dates leading up to the signing of the U.S. Constitution. And please follow the attached rubric. Here we can see the rubric for the U.S. Constitution timeline. If we click on it, it takes us to the rubric that was created. There is the different categories that will be graded on: the title, readability, learning of content, facts, spelling and capitalization, and points are assigned appropriately. Then, for Week 1, Module 1, we also have a discussion post about the U.S. Constitution. Purpose and goal is the same as the assessment, and the parameters is for the initial thread, the word count is 200, 250 to 300 words. There are 2 replies required. Each reply must be 150 to 200 words in length and be substantive in content, adding meaningful insights to the discussion at hand. No references are required. The writing style, none are required. As far as formality, you should compose your initial thread as well as your replies in a professional format, including complete, coherent sentences. Your writing within this discussion forum should demonstrate your ability to apply the basic rules of grammar and writing mechanics within professional settings. Prompt. Initial thread prompt. After completing the assigned readings and watching the assigned videos discussing the origin of the U.S. Constitution and the different branches of government, you'll create a post discussing the role of the local and national government in America's political system. Reply prompt. After you posted your initial thread, please reply to at least 2 colleague posts. Replies should be substantive and include references to the reading and video assignments this week. Please address the following 4 components in each reply to your classmates: compliment, comment, connection, and question. And here are the discussion boards are graded through the rubric, which is divided to 2 different parts: the initial thread and the reply. They are graded based on the word count and the major points and how are they supported from the readings and the videos assigned. So now if we can go through module week 2, we have the intro, the reading and study material that are linked, that are related to course outcome number 3, and we have the videos that are embedded for this week. Then we can go to the module week 3, which discusses the executive branch. It has 2 links as well and they are related to course outcome 3, and we have 2 videos embedded. One is the executive branch explained, and then article 2 of the US Constitution, which is a video from the Khan Academy. Then in week 4, we finished the related course outcome 3, and after discussing the legislative branch, and there's 2 articles that are linked describing the judicial branch, or article 3 of the Constitution, and there's 2 videos related to it as well. Then the first major assessment of the course is the US Constitution PowerPoint. The goal in this module, students will examine the formation of the US Constitution and the different branches of government. They're outlined as they are outlined in Articles 1, 2, and 3 of the US Constitution. Students will focus on the difference between the House legislative process and the Senate legislative process, examine the roles and responsibilities of the executive branch, and expand on the judicial system and the different courts and how judges are appointed. The length of the project should be at least 10 slides. The writing style should be APA. We need at least 4 cited sources in APA format. And this is going to be a group project. Groups will be assigned in a class in teams of 3 to 4 students per group. And the format of the submission, either PowerPoint or Google Slides. Prompt. After completing the assigned reading and watching the assigned videos discussing the origin of the US Constitution and different branches of government, your group will create a PowerPoint presentation summarizing the formation of the US Constitution and detailing the 3 branches of government as expressed in Articles 1, 2, and 3. You may use any sources outlined in the assigned reading and videos. Any outside references need to be cited in APA format. Each slide should have at least 100 to 150 words in notes area, and follow the rubric that's here that is graded based on content, length, research, spelling, grammar, and format and structure. And for Module 4, there's also a discussion post regarding checks and balances that follows the same prompts and replies and the same rubric that was shown earlier. Then for Module Week 5, examines the idea of federalism and the role of state and national government in American political system. There are 2 journal articles that are related to course outcome number 4, and we also have video about federalism and federalism in the United States. For Module 6, is comparing America's major political parties and their core beliefs and the impact special interest groups can have in their action. There are 2 journal articles linked related to course outcome number 2, 2 videos, and 1 discussion post regarding America's political system. Here, students will create a discussion post comparing America's political parties, values, and views on the federal budget. Students will also analyze the impact special interest groups have on their actions. Also, it follows the same discussion post rubric that we looked at earlier. Week 7 is the impact of civil rights and civil liberties on American society. Students will start examining the Bill of Rights and its impact on civil rights and civil liberties, and we'll start researching the role of Congress, U.S. Supreme Court, and movements and their impact on the advancement of civil rights. There are 2 articles here. One is from the ACLU, and one is from the Library of Congress. And they address course outcome number 5. There are 2 videos as well. And then the assessment here is the major research paper. The parameters for it are 2,000 words, EPA writing style, at least 4 references, and it is a single submission. Here, the students will write on the impact of the U.S. Constitution as different branches of government on social life, explaining the Bill of Rights and different impact of the Supreme Court and Congress on civil liberties in the U.S. The research paper should follow the rubric, which is also categorized by the amount of information added, quality of the information, how many sources, mechanics, and organization. And the last module is regarding the components and the functions of the Texas state government and legislative and how it compares to the U.S. Constitution and legislator. Students will also examine the roles and responsibilities of the Texas governor. There are 3 articles linked here regarding the Texas government and the Texas governor. There's also a video about regarding the powers of the Texas governor and the Texas state constitution. And the last discussion post is comparing Texas versus federal government. And it's also linked to the same rubric that we had earlier.